In order to identify birds, we need to know what they look like and what they sound like. And to do that, we have to consult a variety of different resources. The most common of these is a field guide, which is basically a book of illustrations and text and maps describing what a bird looks like, what it sounds like, and where it's found during different parts of the year. A lot of these different field guides have been available for quite some time and are really good study sources. It's often a good idea before you go out bird watching to study the book, to look up what might be seen on the trip that you're going on or what you hope to see, and understand what it looks like. And there are also some resources online where you can listen to bird sounds and try to remember what they sound like. One of the first books that was ever published is A Field Guide to the Birds, published by Roger Torrey Peterson. It was first published in 1934. It has illustrations in it, as well as maps in the back. And he basically developed what's called the field mark system. So what you'll see in this book is arrows pointing to specific characteristics that are unique or very helpful in identifying each individual bird species. So some birds will have white bars on the wings and others won't. Some will have a pale stripe over the eye and others won't. Some will have maybe a dark band across the breast. Some of them will have maybe dark streaks on the sides and various other field marks. One of the most important things to understand about starting to identify birds is first look at the size of the bird. Is it small like a chickadee? Is it robin size? Is it crow size? Is it bigger than a crow? Next step would be to look at what kind of a beak does it have. That helps you narrow down the different options. If it has a hooked beak, like a hawk or an eagle for tearing flesh, then you're not going to look in the warblers, which are insect-eating birds and have tiny, thin beaks. Ducks have very flat beaks for skimming duckweed off of the ponds and other vegetation. And so it tells you a lot about how a bird lives as well, what ecological niche that it fills. And so that'll help you narrow down which part of the field guide you look at. Some field guides, like this fairly new one by Ken Kaufman, Birds of North America, actually provides photographs. Now some people like the photographs because it's the actual bird and it looks more real. And until recently, this has been a very difficult thing to do, because with a painting, you can adjust the angle of your view in what you're providing in the book. Whereas a photograph, you basically have one angle to look at. So it's been a lot of work for him to put this field guide together, but this one is a very useful field guide as well. Some others, the National Geographic Society, that some of you may have heard of, has put out a book. For many years they updated on a regular basis. This one is a very, very thorough book, and it covers all of the birds of the United States and Canada, and so it has a lot of birds in it, and it can be very useful if you travel, but it can be a little bit confusing if you are just bird watching in Michigan. The same goes for the Sibley Guide to Birds. This is a very thick book, has some very good illustrations in it as well, and it covers all of North America. And the handy thing about this is he actually has split this into two volumes, in Eastern North America and a Western North America, that helps you narrow down the choices. And then, of course, a shameless plug, I have also put out a book that just focuses on Michigan, and it does not include all the species, but it does include 300 out of the 400 species that occur here. It does not include some rare things that you're not very likely to see unless you start getting really, really serious about chasing rare things that show up. It's a fairly simple presentation. It has photographs in it, describes the birds' songs and habitats and a few other interesting things, and a few things about where you can see them. So that's a good those are good resources for you to study. And while you're at home right now, you're probably wanting to do a few projects, and studying birds is one of them. I'm getting distracted here. Sorry, I'm always looking around. When you're a bird watcher, you're always a bird watcher. You're never not a bird watcher. So even when I'm having conversations with people, I'm looking and listening for birds. Okay, this is a tough one. Only if you are an expert or on your way to being an expert Can you identify this bird? But why not take a look at it anyway? This is a small bird, sparrow-sized. In fact, it's brown and streaky all over, with a triangle-shaped or conical beak, which are characteristics of sparrows. So congratulations, we've narrowed it down to about 30 species that occur in Michigan. But with sparrows, you have to look a lot closer at some very detailed field marks. This particular sparrow has a lot of different field marks. Its crown is brown with little fine black stripes in it. It has a gray line over the eye. It has a little pale eyering and a little pale mustache or whisker here. It has a white throat with black stripes on it, and very fine stripes on the underside with a pale wash of tan. This is a very beautiful sparrow when you see it up close, but they're not easy to see because they stay in the underbrush. This bird nests in northern Michigan and Canada and spends the winter in the southern United States. This bird is a Lincoln sparrow. Look it up on one of your resources and play its song. It has a very beautiful song. Let's take a closer look at some of the birds at the feeders. The blue jay is definitely blue, but it also has black on its side of its head, black across the breast, black and white bars on its wings, and a pointed crest on the top of its head. The male northern cardinal is all red, with a very thick triangular beak for crushing seeds. It also has a pointed crest on the top of its head, but it also has a black mask on its face surrounding the eye. The black-capped chickadee is a small black and white bird with a black cap and a white cheek, gray wings and back.